This is former TNA World Champion Raven, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And don't cross the line. Or do cross the line. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to, you're not supposed to. I don't know. Whatever. You get it.
TNA Wrestling. Cross the line.
And we're back with episode 244 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. I am Bob Colling Jr. With me, as always, is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, we are coming out of Victory Road, where we learned quite a few different things. Number one, Larry Zbyszko is bald. Number two, Abyss is not really related to the James Gang. And number three is that the Icon Sting is going to be challenging the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Jeff Jarrett, or whomever it will be, come August 13th at Hard Justice. Now, we actually enjoyed Victory Road, despite it being arguably just a filler pay-per-view. We'll get into that a little bit later. It also featured the return of Frankie Kazarian, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But Dallas, how are we feeling as we go towards Hard Justice? And we already know the match. We thought we were going to get it at Bound for Glory. We're getting it 2 months earlier than expected. Sting and Jeff Jarrett, NWA World title.
I'm feeling pretty good right now. I do think we're jumping the gun a little bit on the Jarrett Sting match, but I would have to assume Hard Justice is only going to lead to a larger match still at Bound for Glory. But we will continue to talk about that as we move forward. I think, Bob, we might even have 6 impacts between now and Bound for Glory. I could be wrong. Or, sorry, now and Victory. Or, God damn it.
Hard Justice. Well, it's on the 13th, so we're on... That's not going to be accurate at all.
What? 1, 2, 3.
This is July 20th.
No. Sorry. I'm getting confused. There's 6 between. There's 6 between Hard Justice and No Surrender.
Yeah, or no, we got 4. I think we have 4 episodes?
We have 4. We have 4. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one that was. Okay, so it's between Hard Justice and No Surrender. So forget what I said. We're building up to Hard Justice. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Frankie Kazarian's back. We'll talk about that a little bit today. There's actually some pretty interesting stuff that gets broken down here in the Observer about Victory Road that we will get into momentarily. But before we do that, as Bob noted, we liked the show. We thought it was pretty, ended up pretty good. What do you think that the readers of the Observer thought about it? Did they give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumbs in the middle?
I feel like they're going to say thumbs down.
Well, the majority of the readers actually did give it a thumbs up. Oh. Only 54.9% though, so that was pretty close.
Well, it was close.
And it was only 50 people, so that's pretty low. Thumbs down, 27 people gave it was 29.7%. In the middle was 14 votes, or 15.4%. So, I mean, if you add the middle into the more positive category, which is generally how I feel like it falls, then it wasn't as bad, but still.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Now, Bob, what do you think got voted on as the best match?
I'm going to say LAX against Killings and Dead.
It is, which I'm actually really surprised you guessed, because when I was reading this, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Well, you know what? I feel like the tag team title match didn't get it because of Kim and Serralda being involved.
Right. In second spot was the main event, Sting versus Joe versus Steiner versus Christian Cage. And then Team 3D and Runt versus Abyss and James Gang even got in the top 3 here. And all of those matches were voted on. 43 people, 13 and 11 respectively. So pretty interesting. And now, what about the worst match on the show?
Raven and Sabisco.
It was 70 votes is the worst match. So, and there's not even another contender.
So how many people voted for the overall score of this show?
Oh, let's see here. You're making me do math right now. I'm using a calculator. I don't feel like I'm too tired right now. 91 people. So not everyone votes necessarily on their favorite or worst match. So I think that's pretty typical.
I was just wondering if like people would vote on each thing or whatever.
Right. Okay, so let's dive into this. He's got a little intro here that we'll discuss first, and then we'll start breaking down the matches. And believe it or not, Bob, I don't have, in general, for a post pay-per-view show, notes are a little lighter today than normal. So it's kind of interesting.
I'm not surprised coming off of a filler show.
That's a fair point.
You know.
That's fair. So these notes are from the July 24th, 2006 Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave starts off by saying TNA's Victory Road pay-per-view on July 16th was a mediocre show from a promotion that can't gain position in the crowded pay-per-view market, producing anything less than a very good to excellent. It's a very different promotion from the one that first made its name by presenting the best matches consistently anywhere on pay-per-view. It's now become more storyline and personality based, with almost no booking based on whether the match will produce, in most cases, anything better than at an average level. As a general rule, that's fine. Storylines and personalities get people to buy tickets far more than great matches. But when doing this type of promotion, the company risks greatly because it just comes off as a WWE with lesser stars and now lesser quality matches. And there are now 3 WWE brands, so they've lost their niche. Now, aside from the unexpected LAX versus Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt's show stealer, there was little memorable about this show. Once again, there was a home team crowd that came across as tired, largely due to having wait in lengthy lines in the hot Florida summer sun before getting in. A lot of the regulars didn't go because they used to get that special line and the best seats. With that eliminated, it was a higher percentage of park guests. One person noted that a few hours before the show, the lines to get in were the shortest of any pay-per-view event in a long time. I still find it like so funny thinking about random park goers like going to a TNA show. Being like, yeah, you guys want to go check that out? Let's go check it out.
Can you just imagine like one of the stagehands being like, hey, do you guys want to come watch a show for 3 hours? That you have no idea what's going on?
That's what I mean. Like, it's very hard to fathom for me. Like, I'm trying to think of like something that could relate to me. It's like if they pulled me aside and was like, do you want to watch this ballet show for 3 hours? Well, no, not really.
What about if it was like a sitcom recording?
I think it depends what it would be. You know, I don't know if I would want to do that or not. But see, the difference with that is that's like on TV with like potentially celebrities, you know.
Okay, what if it was a TV pilot that you don't like? It's never been on TV.
I don't think I'd want to do it.
And they tell you like, oh, it's a TV pilot with Danny Masterson.
I wouldn't go. I just wouldn't do it. Now, I will say, you know, one thing that might draw people in, air conditioning.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, if it's really that hot, you've been at the park for hours at this point, and they're like, do you want to come sit in air conditioning for 3 hours and watch this like event? You might be willing to do that.
Right. But so they're not waiting in the line for hours. They're just getting them to go.
Well, in the Victory Road, they were in line, but I would assume that there is some things where. So I went to Universal in California. It's a little different. I don't know if they really have the sound stages and stuff like that. But I would have to assume it's similar to like any like ride, like we did a studio tour or like where you get on like a tram and they like brought us around these movie sets and stuff, which is really cool. So I'd have to assume getting into a show like this is very similar. Like you can go queue up in a line, and it's just like an experience that you're going to do. I'd have to assume. And like I said, if you're at the park, they probably open at 9. I'd have to assume. I think that's what like Disney was when we went. It's like they open at 9 a.m. Maybe it was 8 even. You're in the sun all day until, I don't know when they film these. Let's pretend it's 1 o'clock. Maybe it's noon. You've already got 4 or 5 hours sitting in the sun, walking around a park, and then it's like, hey, you want to come sit in air conditioning and do this thing? You might be willing to, because I feel like when you go to these kind of parks, it's like, let's go check out this. Let's go check. You know what I mean? It's like we went to there's, I think in Universal they do other stage shows too. I think I heard that there was like a Spider-Man one or something at some point, but people just go to these things because it's like something to do while you're there, and you don't have to. It's not like you're waiting in line for a ride. You're going to be sitting down and watching something. So, I think it makes people interested, but I don't know. It's still a park crowd, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like the appeal, like in this instance, of a 3-hour show starting at 8 o'clock. Like I don't know how on a Sunday. I don't know how many people are going to be able to just walk in there. I mean, pay-per-views are for sure the hardcores, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would have to assume.
The TV is probably different.
The TVs are probably different, and the TVs are probably significantly quicker to sit in.
Right.
They might film it blocks. It might be like an hour and a half block, and then another hour and a half, so they get all their stuff filmed and everything. And it might even be shorter than that, because really, I don't know if obviously the live crowd's not really seeing a lot of the film backstage stuff that they air on TV. So, I mean, realistically, they can probably, within 2 hours, film all the matches for 2 weeks worth of shows and segments, and the crowd doesn't even see half of that.
Yep.
So it's actually not as bad, I think. And I think it works in this theme park setting of like, hey, let's go do this quick thing for 45 minutes or whatever. And there's fireworks and stuff. Like, it's fun. So continuing here, Dave says the main event was a 4-way with Sting, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage, and Scott Steiner to find a contender for the August 13th Hard Justice show for Jeff Jarrett's NWA title. Jarrett ended up throwing gasoline on Sting to apparently eliminate him, but he made the big Spirit of 76 comeback, all banged up, and won in the end. There was a depressing lack of reaction to both his return and his win. Now, Joe was clearly the crowd favorite, and it seemed that people saw Sting winning as, well, Joe not winning. So the reality is Sting only has a few months left on his contract. So to get him in the NWA picture, time is running out, and they've built Sting versus Jarrett since he got there, so it makes sense for the direction. Now, Joe, on the other hand, has all the time in the world, and the longer they build up his title match, the more it will mean when they get there. It really does make sense, because rushing the belt on Joe without a chase will give people what they want sooner than is best for business. But there was no real storyline for Joe, who came across as an afterthought, even though fans reacted to him as if he was the biggest star in the show. However, now that they have finally hitting the Sting Jarrett singles program after 6 months of build, there doesn't seem to be any real interest. So, interestingly enough, Dave says their feedback volume, which has always been pretty consistent with the ebbs and flows of TNA buy rate, was down 23% from the low levels of the last few months, and less than half of what it was earlier this year when Sting first arrived. The ending of the TNA shows delivering match of the year candidate level bouts, which was the promotion's lone niche to get people to spend monthly money in an overcrowded pay-per-view environment, had to account for a lot of it. A lot of it also is simply the amount of competition, and more importantly, the amount of competition among viewers with similar interests of events far higher profile and seemingly more important. Right now, I'd be hard-pressed to come up with a category where TNA delivers better than anything a bigger promotion does.
I'm kind of confused by what he's talking about.
He's acting like they don't have like big matches anymore. I feel like
he's saying that their niche or their niche is putting on these amazing pay-per-views to get people to watch the shows.
I guess, which is kind of the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I don't really feel like, for the most part, the shows that we're watching, like, I would ever sit there and be like, this is a pay-per-view you need to watch. That has not really transpired for me.
Right.
Meanwhile, like a WWE show, it's probably a little different.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
a weird
very
situation.
weird.
But
I don't. Yeah,
that's
I don't
where we're
know.
at, man.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I do
Like,
think sometimes he talks in like weird circles that like.
well, because the Ring of Honor is a type of promotion where they're putting on nothing but like high quality matches. Like every match, they want that to be a fucking banger.
Right.
But TNA is not. I don't know. I feel like that doesn't really approach it like that. I mean, you just look at this card with just Raven and Sabisco, for instance. Like, I don't think people are saying, "Oh, hey, that's going to be a 4-star match," or Monty Brown and Rhino. I don't think people are like thinking about that expectation of that.
Right. Pretty interesting. Now he does go on to say that the only other note that really bothered him is something that most wouldn't even think about. And I did not think about this while we're watching, so he's definitely right. It was the lack of instant replays. Even on the show, there were a lot of spectacular spots. And basically they didn't do a lot of replays of them. And usually they would accentuate the legitimate punishment as well as the spectacular nature of the moves, and thus the show, as well as helps get over the wrestlers who take the risks. You had all the same risk, but I don't know that anyone got over with them. So they didn't reiterate the big moves and everything with instant replays.
Who cares?
Apparently Dave does, dude. I don't know. I didn't notice that
There
at all.
wasn't enough replays. Is this guy for real?
I guess. The positive is that we still drew the usual full house of 900 fans in Universal
Drawing a
Studios.
whopping $0.
Hey, you can't win it all. And then, of course, one of the bigger parts that happened of the night was that they did make the official announcement that Bound for Glory on October 22nd will be going to the, quote, Motor City, USA, which, of course, is probably just the outskirts in Detroit. So, pretty good stuff. So, let's talk about the matches. There's some fun stuff in here. So, in the dark match that we did not see, the pre-show, Johnny Devine pinned Shark Boy in 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the pre-show match with a double arm suplex dropped into a sit-out pile driver. He said the move looked impressive as hell for the fans, but I'd be scared out of my mind to take that one because one mistake and you're in some real trouble. He said
Describe that again.
It's a double arm suplex dropped into a sit-out pile driver. So is it like the J Driller?
It's like the J Driller, then, yeah. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. He said Divine looked good, so that's a positive. And remember, Divine is in the paparazzi at this point. So
why would somebody be terrified to do that if it's just the J Driller? If it was the Gringo Killer, it'd be totally different. Like, I'm not taking that.
Maybe he like lifts him up higher before he does it or something. I don't know. I'd have to see.
Maybe it might have looked even more devastating on somebody like Shark Boy.
Yeah, that could be it too. Could have been the way Shark Boy sold it.
Sure.
The opening contest, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens, Bob, they're back. The Naturals are back. And they defeated Elix Skipper and David Young in 5 minutes, 27 seconds. Shane Douglas did a pre-match speech about Dic Flair being on ECW TV. He says, timing is everything, and you have to pick your spots. Criticizing a 57-year-old guy who popped a TV rating and tore down the house in a match with Big Show 5 nights earlier is not the smartest timing.
No.
No.
He's got a level of obsession with Ric Flair, which is really funny because he would always, cut promos about like Flair's in the ring for far too long, whatever. And he'll never do it. He'll never wrestle past the age of like 50 or whatever. And then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here in 2024, Shane Douglas still wrestles. So he is a hypocrite because he still does it.
I think most wrestlers probably are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He continues in this match. So some sloppy work, but impressive finisher as Stevens had Skipper high in position for a major powerbomb, and Douglas came off the top rope with a missile drop kick. And Stevens powerbombed Skipper. Douglas pinned him. Shane Douglas came back out, yelled at the Naturals, which is part of the gimmick. That Shane Douglas is a perfectionist, and even when they win, he wants to eliminate mistakes. He gave this match 1 star.
Well, and also remember they have cut their hair.
Well, I have a secondary note related to this because there is a lot of heat among wrestlers when Andy Douglas got away with not cutting his hair.
No, he cut his hair.
Well, hold on.
Not super short, but he cut it.
Listen. So the story was that Bob Ryder, who apparently doesn't have much respect these days, is what is being reported at least.
Really? Okay.
He stepped in and convinced Jeff Jarrett that they didn't need to cut their hair. The booking committee wanted to give them a new push with a completely new look. Chase Stevens has a little shorter hair that looks the same, and they cut a very little bit of Andy Douglas's hair as a concession, but it's still long, but now it's styled slightly differently.
Yeah, definitely styled differently.
So, I mean, they did technically cut it a little bit, which this is another part of why I love doing these notes, because he would have came out and been like, oh, his hair looks different, but knowing the fact that he was like, I don't want to cut my hair, and then this is like what we ended up seeing is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Next up, Monty Brown went to a no contest with Rhino in 4 minutes and 56 seconds. I did notice too, by the way, Cage Match has this match listed at 7 minutes, so they must have added a little extra of the brawl time onto the Cage Match timing. Right. They had a quick brawl around ringside. Brown went for a pounce and nailed referee Andrew Thomas. Eventually, they were trading suplexes, and this time Rhino went for the gore, and he hit Thomas, which is pretty funny. It was pretty clear that they were going to start a weak win streak for Brown, so he was probably originally going over. However, Rhino elevated himself with the fans and management so much with the anti-Vince McMahon promo that this was not the time to beat him. 1.25 stars. I didn't think about that, but that's an interesting thing. Is like he kind of has been getting more mic time that has been going over pretty well. So, and Monty Brown's been on a win streak, so I don't know. So it's an interesting situation that they're in.
Well, you know what's funny is I think it makes sense because of there was a heavy focus of like the anti-ECW stuff or whatever, anti-WWE.
Yeah.
But I feel like if as a promoter, I would be more inclined to then beat former ECW guys, because then maybe a perception amongst fans would be like, oh, he's a former ECW guy. He just got beat up pretty easily there. So if you push a former ECW guy, it kind of validates maybe that branding.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Actually, I never thought about it like that. Next up, it was Homicide and Hernandez, LAX, defeating Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt in 10 minutes, 7 seconds. Conan did some interfering in this match, as you would expect. Dutt was on the top rope for the Hindu press, but Conan hit him with the slapjack. Hernandez then used a splash mountain, which is similar to the Razor's Edge. Now, we all know this now is the border toss. But instead of dropping Dutt down, he just heaved him halfway to Tampa and got the pin. 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that was a good match. That's maybe a borderline, like, I don't want to say hidden gem, but an unexpected undercard.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. Now, next up came a 14-minute long D'Amore goodbye to Team Canada. So this whole segment. So D'Amore was really good here, Dave says, but this went too long. I totally agree. The deal was that he went to every member of Team Canada individually, thanked them, they all hugged each other, and then they would shunt Eric Young and then leave. So first was Bobby Roode, who D'Amore said would be a future world champion. Dave says, no question, Roode is a good worker, but he has a lot to prove when it comes to charisma. Next was Petey Williams, who D'Amore told that he was like a son to him and told him that to go and win the X Division title. They were all almost in tears. Next, D'Amore went to A1, which Dave says, this will be fun. Fans were chanting, you can't wrestle at A1. D'Amore talked about finding him bouncing at a strip club and getting him into wrestling and bringing him to TNA. He says, Dave goes, I don't know about his chances. Which, I mean, yeah. Then D'Amore ripped on Young and blamed him for Team Canada having to split up because he was always paranoid. D'Amore made Young take off his Team Canada warm-up so that he was left in the ring in his underwear. Young was acting far too similar to Eugene, he says. I don't know if I picked up on that, but it probably should have been the spot where he decked D'Amore, but instead he just took it. The crowd cheered for him, and he acted like the crowd was his friend. And then he went into the crowd in his underwear and led cheers for himself. The crowd was going pretty nuts for Young, but I already saw Eugene and how nuts everyone was for him and how that played out. So I don't know if I really was getting that same vibe to me.
No, there's
Eric Young is like the underdog to me, who's been like constantly been being picked on and beat up in Team Canada for the last 6 months. So I don't know. It's a different vibe to me, but
yeah, I mean, Eugene's a mentally handicapped character. Eric Young is not even remotely attempting to do that same kind of character. I feel like
that's
he's like insecure in his own head type of thing.
That's what I mean.
But Eugene couldn't. His whole gimmick is like he maybe like borderline autistic or whatever. That he is very knowledgeable on wrestling, but if you were to give him simple life tasks, he might not know how to do that. Eric Young isn't like that. It's not. He doesn't know how to, tie his shoes or something.
It's completely different to me. So
yeah, it's not.
That's like making a connection that doesn't need to be made, in my opinion.
Yeah, that he's. I mean, Eugene became a comedic character, or was a comedic character. Mm-hmm. He's taking a comedic character to another comedic character and saying it's the same exact character, and it's not at all.
Right.
The only thing they have similar is that they were comedy relief underdogs, but not the basis of the character being the same. That's just not accurate at all.
Right. Yeah, I think Eric Young's about to blow up after this segment, so I'm curious to see how that's going to move on.
I would imagine he will, and I think Bound for Glory should be Eric Young against Scott D'Amore.
I think this is probably the first time I think that Scott D'Amore should be in a match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it seems to make the most sense to me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He just ridicules him for months, and then you get a
Remember
short pay-per-view match, not 15 minutes long.
No. Remember when you ruined Team Canada for us? And he just does it for the next, 10 weeks?
Yeah, well, D'Amore's goal could just be recruiting men throughout the next, like you said, 10 weeks or whatever, to take out Eric Young. He took out Team Canada in D'Amore's head, so he's going to take him out. And Eric Young triumphs, and the D'Amore's like, I'll just do it myself.
One thing I didn't even think about, and we can talk about more if we see him again and stuff. D'Amore's got to be. He's not going to be on TV anymore. I didn't even think about that. He's except maybe some Eric Young thing, but he's. Yeah. I didn't even think about what was going to happen to him. I mean, I think he's on the booking committee, so he's fine. But
yeah, but in terms of on air, I don't.
Yeah, I don't. We don't really see him much more, do we?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I never really thought about it. Next up, this has got a pretty interesting note on it. Senshi retained the X Division title by pinning Frankie Kazarian in 11 minutes 19 seconds. Now, apparently, the original plan was for a 3-way with 2 surprise opponents, which was going to be Kazarian and then the guy that we've talked about before, Incognito from Mexico. So to me, I think we were fine with just the one surprise.
Yeah, no one would know who that was when it came out.
I was kind of afraid the people who saw Kazarian didn't even know who he was.
Well, because he had cut his hair.
He's cut his hair, which we'll mention in just a second.
Yeah.
Now, somehow, yeah, right. Somehow Incognito's phone or email or something wasn't working, and he didn't know about the ticket that they sent him. So they must be cursing the entire country of Mexico by this point. Kazarian cut his hair and looks like a male model, but showed no personality whatsoever in the ring, Dave says.
A male model? I don't know about that.
Technically, the offense was real good, but it was a cold match since Kazarian did nothing to be the babyface and didn't do much in the way of comebacks. He took some nasty kicks, some even to the side of the head. Senshi finally won with the double foot stomp off the top rope. 2.5 stars. It's called the Warrior's Way, by the way.
I feel like Kazarian would look more like a male model with the long hair.
I don't know. He's looking pretty good.
Sort of...
He's looking GQ kind of now, you know?
Okay.
I see what he's getting at, but it's still like a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
I would have just said he cut his hair. But instead, Dave is like, he cut
Not
his hair.
on, yeah.
He also looks like a male model. Okay. I mean, they're all jacked. I guess they all sort of do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Next up, Raven pinned Larry Zbyszko in 3 minutes, 48 seconds in a hair versus hair match. Ever since Morphoplex folded, Zbyszko must have gained 30 pounds in the middle, Dave says. Luckily, the Zbyszko stall didn't require extensive cardio. Ridiculous. Wait till you hear this next comment. Between Zbyszko's midsection and Raven's blonde hair and his dress made him look like a slimmed down Rikishi, particularly from behind. What the fuck?
Wow.
What are we doing? I think Raven actually looked pretty good at the show. So, compared to recent times.
Yeah, he didn't have his shirt on.
And he had a skirt. I don't know. I think we were in a good place, but whatever.
He looked a lot better than he had.
Yeah. Well, 2 minutes into the match, that was getting no reaction. And they went to a ref bump. Raven used the DDT, but no referee. Zbyszko used a low blow, but no ref. They did more near falls that nobody cared about. Raven did a second DDT and got the pin. Zbyszko ran off after the match, but security brought him back out, and they duct taped him to the barber's chair. I could have predicted the electric razor wasn't going to work. They got some hair off, but not as much as they wanted, as quickly as they wanted. Raven teased shaving Zbyszko's chest since it wasn't working well on the hair, and they even teased shaving his pubes. Slick Johnson was teasing Zbyszko, who kicked Johnson in the groin. Don West missed it and saw Johnson double over, selling on the ground, and West thought Johnson was laughing so hard he couldn't get up.
Oh my God.
They mercifully cut away after a few minutes of this to go backstage to a Kevin Nash promo. As good as the promos were for this, it was clear that nobody wanted to actually see them wrestle. He gives this match a dud.
I think that's fair.
I don't think it was as bad as I expected, though, still, but...
No, but the way you described it, you see the build up and you think it's going to be enjoyable. But do you really want in 2006 to see a Raven versus Larry Zbyszko match? No.
Right.
Similar to how I didn't want to see Larry Zbyszko against AJ Styles in 2003.
Well, there you go. And my side note on this one is another random thing. Even before losing the hair match, the medical hair restoration company was advertising Larry Zbyszko as one of its clients. Zbyszko is getting hair plugs put in shortly. The same group treated Wade Boggs, a baseball superstar who is friends with many of the Florida-based wrestlers, as well as Jimmy Hart, it says more than 6 months ago, and is soon to be doing a similar surgery for Chavo Guerrero Sr. And Chavo Guerrero Jr., apparently. And if you're wondering, this is why the angle on TV with Chavo Guerrero Jr. has been slowing down. But...
What angle is he talking about with Chavo?
I honestly could not tell you.
2006.
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Pretty fun. A SmackDown 2006 podcast, so we wouldn't know, I guess.
Bob, are you familiar with Wade Boggs?
Yes, he's a Hall of Fame third baseman.
Okay, well, do you want to know why I know who he is? Because I also know who Wade Boggs is.
So how would you know who Wade Boggs is?
Okay, so I watched this YouTube show called Good Mythical Morning. I love it. It's fantastic. I think you've seen it before.
Sure.
With Rhett and Link. So they do a lot of generally they do a lot of eating food and play games and this kind of stuff. Well, they also do this one where they buy old food and eat it sometimes, or they see how it is, 100-year-old chocolate bars and canned goods, and they open them up and see what it's like inside. And sometimes they'll like taste them, but sometimes they won't. Well, there was at some point a chocolate bar that was a Wade Boggs chocolate bar. I'm pretty sure it's chocolate. And when they opened it, it had a very distinct smell.
Oh no.
And so now they have it. I'll remind me later. I'll try to send you a picture or something of this when we're not recording. But now they have it encased in this plastic container, and they have a little hole where you can move it and smell it. And so now every time they have old food and stuff like that they do, they go, it's got the Boggs. Like it smells like the Boggs. And they pull it into frame and they open it up and smell it, and they're like, yeah, it smells like Boggs. And so when something smells like old and like gross, it's Boggs. And so that's how I know who Wade Boggs is. And and they actually even got him to film a video, and they sent it into him, and they were like dumbfounded when they saw this video that Wade Boggs was like essentially cut a promo on him.
I was gonna ask if Boggs did something with them.
Yeah, it's really, really funny. So that's why I know who Wade Boggs is.
So I'm assuming they didn't eat it.
That particular one, I don't remember. It was a while ago. They might have, maybe they tried part of it, or maybe because of the bog smell they didn't. I can't quite remember, to be honest. But it's pretty funny. Yeah. Anyways, back to wrestling. Kevin Nash did a promo backstage, a funny promo. The only thing memorable was that at the end, Nash stuck out his chest and rubbed it in Borash's face and said, "They're real and they're spectacular," which apparently was a line from about Terry Hatcher's boobs in an episode of Seinfeld from 1992. Dave says so. I would have never known that. I would have never known that. But Nash was also trying to act cool and making fun of Hogan's promos. And then he kind of makes a joke about as if we didn't get enough DX for 1 week with the 40-year-olds trying to act like high schoolers. So I would also argue with Dave that there was another memorable moment where Nash said, "I'm on the cover of the X Division DVD," and throws it so you can't see it. Mm-hmm. So I actually thought it was a great promo. But yes, when he stuck his chest in JB's face at the end, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, next up, Chris Sabin and Jay Lethal beat Nash and Alex Shelley in 9 minutes and 7 seconds. Nash did an arm drag, and the fans chanted, "That was awesome." The crowd was mostly dead for the match. Nash was either trying to sell, but does it in the most unbelievable fashion, or was trying to sell in a most unbelievable fashion. In the end, they just got Nash out of the way, and Sabin pinned Shelley with a sunset flip. The whole idea of this program was to get Sabin over as a genuine top X Division star. But shock of all shocks, all that's happened is that Sabin has gotten buried because of all the reasons virtually everyone said that would happen with the idea of this program surface. Post-match saw Divine run in and they beat down on the faces until Nash went to powerbomb Sabin. Jerry Lynn ran in with a chair. He threw down his employee badge. So I got the feeling it was a symbol that he's going to be wrestling. The idea is he's the X Division pioneer, and I guess doesn't like the fact that Nash was making fun of the X Division. He gives this match 1.5 stars.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got too from Jerry. I figured he'd be
right.
That kind of signifies like, screw this, I'm gonna get back into wrestling or something.
Right. Next up, the James Gang and Abyss defeated Team 3D and Brother Runt in 10 minutes 24 seconds. Apparently, Dave Penzer got reamed out for announcing Abyss at 248 pounds.
I remember hearing that. 248.
Yeah, well, apparently he got in a lot of trouble for that one. This was the same weapon.
Because he's probably nowhere near 248.
No, I think usually don't they tell him he's like 350?
Something like that. Maybe he was supposed to say 348 or something.
Oh, it could have been that, yeah. Live TV, folks. Dave says this was the same weapons and garbage can brawl that you get on every show. These guys do it well, and it always gets over. Although this match didn't get over nearly to the degree that most of them have. At one point, Brother Ray was even stomping his feet and cheerleading for himself because the crowd was so tired. Abyss gave Runt a running throw off the top rope into the third row where the fans body surfed him. Then the fans dumped him back over the guardrail and he landed on his head on the floor.
That was horrible. That was so bad.
Dave says he even looked out of it before he landed on his head, so that couldn't have made him feel any better.
No. Yeah.
I also would have to assume that those were plans. I feel like there's no way they just threw him into an actual crowd of people, but which almost
I believe that. I believe that they would do that.
I don't.
Because so the first time that ever happened, Bigelow did it at the ECW arena, throwing spike, and they did not catch him. He just threw him into the crowd, and he hit the ground. They do it a second time. I don't think it's the same match, but they do it a second time down the line, and then they catch him and they do the crowd surfing thing. I would have to, if you're in the crowd and you see Abyss press slamming Brother Runt in your direction, what are you doing? Are you bailing, or are you gonna be like, I gotta catch this guy?
If it's Runt, he's small enough that if everyone else stayed around, I think it'd be fine, and I could stick around. But as we have both experienced, I'm so used to like moving. It's like during when Kenny Omega and Cam were fighting at the Pro Wrestling Syndicate show we went to, and we're just like watching. We're like, oh, he's gonna dive, and Cam goes move, and it was like you look up, and all of a sudden, freaking this dude's flying in the air at you.
Right, but we weren't going to move.
No, we weren't going to move. That's right. But I've also been to like, there's a 2CW show. I remember it was Human Tornado against a guy whose name I cannot remember right now. And it was the same thing where he was like, move. And it was like, what? And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation.
Fury?
Yes, that was it. I couldn't remember who it was. I don't know. So I'm just willing to bet in 2006 in a theme park that they would not want to try to potentially injure park goer fans. I just don't believe it. Especially because it's a spot that was done before and they wanted to make it look good.
Yeah, but if they're plants, why would they then just drop him on his head?
That's the part that doesn't make sense. However, it could be that the plants were the ones who caught him initially, and then as they crowd surfed him over, it was to real fans, and then they dropped him. It could have been that.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't say they're plants, so I guess we can just say they're not. We put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would be plants, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It could have been because what your point makes sense of like, why would you do that at a theme park? Or whatever, at a stage where there's fans that maybe don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then to insert what I think I would do. If it was present day, I'm probably more inclined to catch them. 2006, when I'm a junior in high school, I don't know.
Right.
I think I would probably sidestep.
Sidestep, yeah. And if they weren't plants, maybe that was part of it, is like you might fall on the floor, and like maybe that was like a known thing. Like you might just splat on the ground. It's Brother Runt. I'm not totally surprised if he was like, okay, if I got a splat, then so be it.
That's such a risk, though.
Yeah, but he splats on the ground a lot.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's true.
Being thrown from the ring over the ropes, over a guard railing, and easily probably 3 or 4 rows into the crowd.
Give or take.
If he were to just completely land on the ground, that is serious. That's a serious.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't
know.
There had to be something where like, hey, we know this is happening. There had to be.
Yeah. Well, maybe eventually we'll know more. Other stuff that happened in this match here. Brother Ray pulled out an ECW Fierce TNA sign from the garbage can and then stapled it to Abyss's forehead. Dave says, I think Abyss ended up taking 4 staple shots because they couldn't get it to stick in his head. The fans chanted for tables, so they got tables. Then before they could do anything with the tables, the chant was, we want fire, which they did not do. The finish saw Abyss use a black hole slam on Runt onto the table, which didn't break. Abyss pretty well pushed Runt through the table. He gives this 2 3/4 stars. Next up, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Sorelda defeated America's Most Wanted and Gail Kim in 11 minutes 52 seconds to retain the NWA Tag Team titles. He says this wasn't bad, but not at the level of the prior 2 months. The first half of the match was mainly comedy spots, and then whenever Sorelda got in, it just kind of killed the momentum of the match dead. That said, Gail Kim did some pretty cool stuff here, but her style is better suited to be a babyface. They did a lot of teasing of problems with Harris and Storm before the match. Harris wanted Storm to stop drinking a beer before the match, blaming Storm's drinking on the screw-up that cost them the tag team titles and left him with stitches last time. The second half of the match was very good. At one point, AMW went for the death sentence, but they stopped Harris on the top rope, so instead Gail Kim came off with a leg drop on Daniels for a near fall. Eventually, Storm went to hit Styles with a beer bottle, but he moved. Harris stopped Storm from hitting him with the beer bottle on a screw-up. Harris went for the chair shot on Styles, but he moved and hit Storm. Styles used a sloppy jackknife cradle for the pin on James Storm. 2 3/4 stars.
Now he mentioned sloppy. I think Storm's shoulder was technically up. I think you could play it.
And I think that's why he's calling it sloppy.
Yeah.
Bob, finally, the main event. Sting won the 4-way for the NWA title shot over Christian Cage, Scott Steiner, Samoa Joe in 14 minutes, 9 seconds. Jarrett was dressed and disguised as a cameraman and supposedly threw gasoline in Sting's eyes in about 4 minutes into the match. The problem with the match at that point is on Steiner, or sorry, let me rewind. The problem with the match from that point on is Steiner was a focal point and he was again struggling bad. Probably the most noticeable since he's been in TNA. The crowd wasn't into the match at all. Eventually, Sting came back in about 13 minutes, 30-second mark. He had tape around his forehead and covering his eye. At one point, Christian had the match won, but Sting pulled him off Steiner to keep it going. The finish saw Christian and Joe fighting near the ropes. Steiner dumped both of them over the top, and then Sting used the Scorpion Death Drop to pin Steiner. Post-match, saw Christian shake Sting's hand as the show ended. 2 1/4 stars.
Yeah, so he's leaving out the fact that Christian was pissed about getting pulled off, acting incredibly heelish, and I would say over the top to the point where it came across phony as fuck. Whereas the viewer, you're like, this guy is not genuine. He's not happy for Sting winning the match.
Right.
So that's a very important context. If you had not watched the show and you're depending on this review, you'd be thinking, oh yeah, Christian's fine with it. There's no way. He was so angry, and then on a dime he switched it, and he was all like, yeah, Sting, you did it. Happy for you, whatever. But it was such in a tone and a manner that he's not being a sincere friend. He's pissed.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty clear, I thought. I have 2 more very quick ones for you, and then we're getting into the show. Because this first one is a mouthful. So apparently neither Monty Brown nor Senshi have signed new contracts. So in the case of Brown, I don't know it's considered a big issue. Now with Senshi, there was something in the deal that he wouldn't agree to, and he was also unhappy at TV. So I'm assuming at this TV coming up. He was mad his pay-per-view match was never advertised and was telling people that nobody from the company even called him to tell him about his match, saying he found out about it on the internet. He wasn't booked at the TV and apparently only worked on Explosion and a tag match where, listen to this, Bob, Sanjay Dutt pinned him, which also he wasn't happy about. So our X Division champion was pinned on an Explosion match. Now, this may be to set up a pay-per-view match, or it may be to give Dutt a big win from TV in India, or Dutt and the company's most popular wrestler. So it's pretty interesting. And that match, by the way, was Sanjay Dutt and Chris Sabin defeating Senshi and Petey Williams. So that's the match where Dutt got the win. Now, interestingly enough, I could not find this on the Explosion notes that I was looking at, so I also think that's kind of interesting. But anyway.
So I understand the whole, a match wasn't advertised for pay-per-view or whatever, that's fine. I mean, his opponent is a surprise return.
Right.
So, whatever. It's not a match where it's going to make or break people buying it.
Well, right.
So I don't really see the big deal about that. And then like what you're saying with Sanjay Dutt, I mean, if it's the India connection, trying to get him a big win there. Okay, makes sense. And then also, if Dutt beats him, and then now he's a potential challenger for whether it be on Impact or, like you said, a pay-per-view. Does he think he can just win every match?
Well, right.
And he came back at what? Lockdown? Essentially?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we're only in July. How long of a contract did this guy have? Like 6 months? Because I would imagine his contract wouldn't be expiring until April.
That's kind of what I was wondering too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised that we're already hearing that Senshi is frustrated. That's incredible.
Yeah, I agree. My final note, Bob, and I'm going to keep this one pretty short because it's longer form, but I'll just tell you. So apparently vignettes are going to be starting this week for Bobby Roode's new single push. And I'm going to leave it at that because if we're going to see him potentially on the show, then I don't think we need to talk more about it right now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It starts now.
If we see it on this show, I will carry over the rest of this note on our next episode. I don't really think there's anything mind-blowing here, just some ideas. But if we are potentially seeing it, then I think we might as well just wait and find out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's all your notes, right?
That's everything for our pre-show notes. So, as always, a little longer form after the pay-per-view. But believe it or not, a pretty light note week compared to most post-pay-per-view shows.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it then. It's the July 20th edition of TNA Impact. The approximate runtime for this is 42 minutes and 52 seconds. If you want to watch along with us, you can head over to the TNA Plus app, or you can find it in your own personal collection. I'm going to count down from 3. When I say play, that is when the watch along shall begin. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
As we're getting our intro here, the other Explosion match that was taped was aired on August 4th, 2006, and it was A1 defeating Ron Killings.
Okay, so maybe he does have a future.
Kind of weird. Interestingly enough, as we're getting our just Victory Road highlights here. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention how awesome the LAX entrance was.
Right, through the crowd.
There was another match that aired on August 11th, 2006, where Gail Kim defeated Sorelda. And then, well, I don't know. I'll just say those two for now. And then at the next taping, maybe there was more. I don't know. The explosion stuff gets so confusing. What the hell was this? Oh, Bob, we forgot. On this episode, Jay Lethal gets a title shot of his choice.
That's right. Because of his victory in the Team Canada disbanding thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Jeremy Borash here outside of Sting's locker room. Got the Victory Road poster right next to him. There's a Hard Justice poster already in the back. Whoa. Oh. Jay Lethal just came out of Sting's locker room. Yeah, Sting's alright, but he doesn't want to be bothered right now. Yeah, JB, I got a title match tonight. Yeah, X Division title. Oh, Sting said the best thing he could do is go for it all. So tonight he's challenging Jeff Jarrett for the world title.
I like that. That.
Good move. So Sting's doing okay. He's in his locker room, doesn't want to be bothered, and Jay Lethal talked to him, and Sting says the best thing you can do is go after Jarrett.
Is Sting being a heel because he thinks he can beat Lethal easier than he can beat Jarrett?
I was actually looking at it like maybe he'll kind of weaken Jarrett, even if Jarrett wins.
Or that, yeah.
I'd say either way. Sting knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Although Sting is such a good guy, I don't even know if that crossed his mind. He's so good.
He's such a supportive person.
Yeah. Did that sign just say Eric Young join LAX?
I don't know.
Because if it was, that one's
definitely
definitely not planned to.
no.
Lots of pyro, blown out the butt. Whoa, that was an awful cut.
That was a
Shit.
horrible cut.
Holy, well, Shane Douglas is in the ring. Whoa, that was really bad.
Wow.
He's going to introduce a couple guys that he's been whipping into shape. Bob, do you have a Shane Douglas shirt? Because if you don't, I'm very surprised.
I don't. I tried to get one off of eBay, and then I never got it, so I had to file a claim.
Ah. Whoa. The natural's coming out, and we're seeing the camera shot underneath SoCal Val's skirt.
And the shirt was him on it, like throwing down the NWA World Title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that's sick," and I never got it.
Okay, so we're seeing a highlight clip of them winning at Victory Road. They're coming out here still in their very boring trunks. Just got the logo right on the front. I don't know. Maybe if they had like yellow boots on or something, I would hate it less because then at least we're like got a different look on. But
Yeah, but isn't the point probably that they're not flashy?
I kind of think it is the point. Yeah, I do. And I think that's one of the parts I hate about it a lot. Oh, shit. Their opponents here is Kazarian and Maverick Matt, who is wearing different trunks. And he cut his hair.
What the fuck is going on?
Less than zero? Oh, the mute?
That's their song.
Oh, and he wrote it and recorded it. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Less than zero. That's their new theme song. We haven't seen, Bob, I'm going to have you look this up during our indie notes here, but we haven't seen Maverick Matt in quite some time.
Almost probably the equivalent of like Hoyt when they had their little explosion feud.
Wow. Well, yeah, you're right. See, I'm okay. I actually kind of hate this though because the Naturals are going to win, but I really like the team of Matt and Kazarian, so I kind of wish they were pushing them as like a little babyface team here.
Right. So the last time we saw Matt Bentley on television was March 18th.
Wow.
And he lost a World X Cup qualifying three-way that involves Sanjay and Helix Skipper as well. So that's, but during that time he's been doing like UWF TNA shows. But in terms of television, we haven't seen him.
And I think we talked about it at Victory Road, but Kazarian, he wasn't doing a ton in between WWE and here, right? Is that what it was? I can't quite remember.
I mean, he was doing like he did like cyberspace and
that's right.
I think maybe some PWG, maybe. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was definitely, I think, doing PWG. Yeah, because he left WWE in like what, August, I said. So he was regularly doing PWG monthly, Jersey All Pro, and then some other promotions that we've never really heard of.
That makes sense.
But I should probably see if he's done any indie notes or anything indie wise. Now, so we're in July. And the answer to that question is going to be no.
Nice. How do you feel about the white tights that Maverick Matt and Kazarian are wearing?
I'll tell you right now, Bentley looks so different.
It's kind of throwing me off, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it.
You know what? The part I don't hate is that both him and Kazarian look different. So it feels fresh. It's kind of funny, right? Because it's like the Naturals. The whole point was that they had a different look and everything. And here we go with Kazarian and Maverick Matt with completely different looks. Both cut their hair. I mean, Maverick Matt's is still, it's like a bob. It's like chin length. But the trunks are so different for him. His hair's shorter than it's been ever. No Tracy. That's
No
important to
tricks.
know.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Like,
I'm excited he's back.
I don't think I hate it.
It's also interesting because he was going by Maverick Matt Bentley for a while. Now he comes back, and now his nameplate said Maverick Matt. Like, that's his name now.
Mhm.
Natural's clothesline Kazarian to the floor. Looks like Maverick Matt is also going to be the one who takes the pin in a second. Fisherman suplex. We're setting up for that finishing move, it looks like, which is not the Natural Disaster, which is lame. Oh, Kazarian stopped Andy Douglas on the top. Oh, here we go. German suplex. Oh, nice. German suplex clothesline combo. Just 2 count, though.
Were you saying that you like the Natural Disaster more than their newer one?
I think I do.
I think I prefer the Natural Disaster.
I like the Natural Disaster a lot, and I think there's some. I mean, here we go. It's a missile dropkick into a power bomb. It's fine.
Yeah.
To me, that's like a good secondary tag finisher, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Natural Disaster, I think we started to see it set up so uniquely that I really, really liked it.
Yeah, when you're doing a missile dropkick powerbomb thing, that takes a little bit longer to set up.
Right. Shane Douglas coming out, he actually looks much happier this time with their the way the match turned out for him, which is interesting. I mean, he's slapping him. Never mind.
He faked him out. Your next lesson: don't crush somebody smiling.
Well, as he's yelling at him, Bob, you already mentioned Lance Hoyt a little bit, so he was backstage looking for work at this taping. Do you want to guess who else was backstage?
Wait, he was looking for. So is he not under contract?
I guess not. This is how I learned that too.
Wow. Who I don't know. I don't know who.
Okay. Okay. I'll just tell you. Brian Lee was there again. Sean Waltman was apparently there as well. There's been no sign or talk about Jake Roberts after we talked about him recently. They've been trying to come up with an angle for either him or Sin, but I guess just nothing has happened yet.
I was gonna say, was Sin Bodhi there again?
Not this time, but
I drove fucking 23 hours.
at the
Just
announce
to drop
table.
off Jake Roberts.
I love the face TNA looks when people talk. He's like, yeah, yeah,
He looks very into it.
yeah. I'm telling you, I say it all the time. I think Mike Tenay is not talked about enough as a great announcer.
I agree, and I think that realistically, like if you put up his TNA stuff against probably anybody, it'd be tough to be like, oh, he's not on the same level.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm telling you, Don West and Mike Tenay is a team.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, and we've talked about Don too. Like his enthusiasm is fantastic. Now, as a younger kid, I remember thinking like, well, this is a little annoying. But now as an adult and like knowing the context of like he wasn't really a wrestling fan, his shit, he was freaking out on an amazing red dropkick one time or whatever.
Yeah,
so he was losing his mind on it. But it's a genuine reaction. He had never seen something like that.
And we're backstage again. JB is outside of. Oh, there it is, dude. We're outside Sting's office again, but Eric Young is sneaking around, and he does have a shirt on now that says "Don't fire Eric." I've been looking for you all day, man. He's sneaking around. The crowd, I even hear in the Impact Zone chanting, "Don't fire Eric."
So does that mean they see this?
Actually, yeah, that's a great point, Bob.
Or is it piped in? That could be piped in.
It got quiet now, so there's a chance it was also piped in.
Right.
Because right now there's just like dead crowd noise of like, woo!
Yeah.
Wait, there's something going on in this area. Oh, shit. Jarrett and Scott Steiner out here. Tenay, do I look stupid? Oh, wait a moment, but I have a Scott Steiner note. But let's hear what they're saying out here before I give it to you. He has conned Jay Lethal tonight. He's saying Sting conned him. Sting is a con artist. He's going to screw me out of a title. Oh, you better get in your ring gear, Jarrett.
You don't think Jarrett's going to wrestle in street clothes, do you?
No, I don't.
Because I would hate that.
Right. Apparently, Samoa Joe wasn't happy at all at TV. He showed up with a large welt under his eye when Steiner potatoed him at the pay-per-view. Apparently, he ended up in an argument with D'Amore in front of the wrestlers. D'Amore was on him about something, and Joe yelled at him, and D'Amore eventually apologized in the end. Drama.
The more step he backed down. That's a true Canadian. He backed down.
Looks like we're seeing a Sting promo here for Hard Justice.
August 30th.
It's time.
I
Spy Paparazzi Broadcasting. I need to know what they think when they get on the top rope, when they leave the top rope. Oh, Shelley and Divine brought Kevin Nash some tapes from Japan, from Madagascar. We're here in Mexico City. Look at him watching on the little tiny video screen.
Yeah.
The beauty, the form, how he arched his back. Come on, take these notes. Oh, what's that? He goes, that's a double reverse ninja kick. He's never seen a two-sided ring before. And Shelley goes, well, yeah, that's because this is Madagascar. How many people are you think? I don't know, 300? Jesus Christ. Those two Madagascar wrestlers you're watching? Oh. He's going to fly that in business class, and Kevin Nash goes, shut the front door. Come on, Kevin. He goes, I love you. Oh, he feels the championship coming. Hold me. He's squeezing the shit out of Shelley. What in the world are we watching, dude?
I think Nash just like legitimately broke at the end there. I think you could hear them laughing.
Yeah, he did. He started laughing. Here comes Rhino.
I do have indie notes here for Rhino. It's only a couple of them. On July 15th, Rhino defeated Ed Chuman and Zach Gowen in a three-man battle royal at TTW's Volume 3 in Berwyn, Illinois. Actually, all these notes happened in the same building, but two different companies. So, also on July 15th, Rhino won a 20-man battle royal at AAW's Scars and Stripes. And then that led to a championship match. For the AAW Heavyweight Championship, Tyler Black defeated Rhino. Tyler Black, of course, now being known as Seth Rollins.
Uh-oh. Rhino's setting for the gore. He's fighting Robert Adams, and Bob, he hits the gore and goes for the cover. 3. That was a very fast squash match.
Okay, so the connection with ECW has lit a spark for Rhino's crowd reactions.
Yeah, and now he's getting a microphone. Now, Bob, I gotta say, that was Robert Adams' second and final match of his entire career.
Wow.
He had one match on March 22nd, 2005 against Heidenreich on Velocity. And of course he lost. And that's it. He had fought Heidenreich and Rhino, and that was the end of his career.
Wow. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. I didn't know we were going to see Joe here. Oh, they fucked. Oh, it's Rhino. Okay, sorry. I thought they fucked up audio there. Rhino threw out an extreme challenge. You want to come down here? You want to fight now? You want to fight next week? Or do you want to fight at Hard Justice? Look at Joe is fucked up. Look at his head.
His forehead.
Yeah, he got that potato.
Oh, I thought you said it was under his eye.
Oh wait, did I say that?
I thought so.
It does say under his eye, but it looks like it's above his eye.
It's definitely above his eye.
Yeah. Reported wrong, I suppose. Oh, certain events he felt a little depressed. Nothing will make him feel better than a good old-fashioned brawl. We don't have to wait till Hard Justice. Oh, shit, they're fighting next week. Cornette gave it to him next week. The Battle of the Machines.
Oh my God, War Machine, the Samoa Submission Machine.
Yeah,
really?
dude.
Is that what we're going for?
Oh,
Whoa.
why don't we kick
Rhino's
each other's
throwing
ass
F-bombs?
right fucking now? They beeped it, of course, but here comes Rhino. Security's just barely stopped
The
him.
one time security does their fucking job. Are you serious?
Oh, wait, Joe's breaking out of it. Hold on. Oh, he's trying. The Battle of the Machines next week.
That's an interesting tagline. Hey, brother, run.
Alone? Backstage? Okay.
Oh, hey
Yeah,
guys,
okay. There
my
you go.
brothers.
Yeah, what? Oh, he says, you got two choices. Get the hell out of here or sit down and shut up. Oh, JB goes, I'm going to stay if that's all right. Okay, they tell Run to take a seat too. We don't like losing. We lost last week to James Gang and Abyss. You got put through a table. Now we're not blaming you. The fact remains that we still lost.
So I think he's kind of blaming you.
Oh,
What?
he's got bad news. Devon and him are splitting for a while. We need to regroup.
No, they
Your
must
goal.
have a tour. Are they going to Japan or something?
Oh. We went crazy in ECW, became the greatest tag team in the world in WWE, and now we're here with the greatest future in professional wrestling here in TNA. Things have not gone perfectly. We had America's Most Wanted right where we wanted them. We had the NWA Tag Team World titles basically in our fingers.
Well, Team Canada first. They got sidetracked.
They're just not going right. We've been going real hard for 12 years, so we're going to take some time off. You know, between 2004 and 2005, we might have appeared on TV one time.
That's right.
But we've been going hard. Oh, he's asking Grunt for a favor. A big favor. And behave yourself. Stay out of people's way. Hold it down for the family until they return. Oh, like, did they talk to him like he's a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Be good. You know what you should do? Go for that X Division title.
Well, he is a former cruiserweight champion.
Well, he said that's perfect for you. All right, see you, bro.
They're telling him to behave. It makes it sound like Brother Runt is a psychopath or something. And the way that he just smiled at the camera does not bode well.
No. We're going to hear from the NWA Tag Team Champions next. But here we are first with Gail Kim and AEW.
They are not.
Harris just asked JB if he wants to get killed, but he said, do not introduce us as former champions. He said, introduce us as the 6-time Tag Team Champions. Ooh, he just made a joke about Harris hitting with a chair. Gail Kim getting it. Stop. You know why this is happening? This is happening because of one person. That's you, Sorelda.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have been blaming Sorelda for this. Oh.
She's like, are you interfering? Are they about to advertise the explosion match that I just told you about?
No.
Oh, are you sure? Because it sounds like it. Oh,
No, that's because they're fighting at Hard Justice. And
well, she already beat her on Explosion.
Yeah, it was probably a tester for their fucking match at Hard Justice.
It probably was. Here comes AJ and Daniels dressed to the nines. I have another note I can give you here.
So your definition of dressed to the nines is AJ wearing jeans and a shirt.
Well, Daniels is dressed nice. They have a folder with them, it looks like. There was a rep from ESPN India at the weekend shows here, doing all sorts of interviews with wrestlers for the station, claiming ratings of TNA are huge, and talking about the idea of TNA doing a tour there.
Yeah, okay.
Why do the titles look enormous?
Because they're on smaller guys and styles and.
Are they the same titles?
Yeah, aren't they? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
They look huge. It's good to stand here in the Impact Zone as the tag team champions. That's good to hear.
Daniels, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Christopher Daniels. Sort of. But we're not undisputed champions. Because it seems like the teams in the back have a problem with AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels holding these championships. Boo.
Well, why would they be thrilled?
Boo. Well, yeah, right? It doesn't make any sense. Do you see the resentment in their eyes, AJ? Yeah, it's Team 3D called them the future of the company. And as a team, And here they are. Look at them now. They're like, basically, you like it what you see? I mean, if the roles were reversed, I might feel the same way. They keep doing these weird crowd cuts.
I don't like it.
Calm down, partner. Hold these folders. These envelopes. There's a lot of envelopes. There's a signed contract for a title shot. Well, first off, I don't want to be that guy. Yeah, a signed title shot for every tag team in TNA. They have so many folders, there's no way we have that many tag teams.
There's no way.
Oh, he's go. Okay, Team 3D. Oh, but they're taking time off.
Yeah, so they're gone. They're that.
James King. Well, they're about to prove me wrong, Bob. The Naturals.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, okay. Christian Cage and
that's not
Sting.
a tag team. They're friends.
Oh, but see, they got cut off. Oh, shit. I didn't hear LAX's name. Conan stands up. They got a t-shirt now.
No, they're folder 6, dude. Jeez.
Oh, he calls, as he says, those two gringos overrated.
Wow, Styles is pissed about being called overrated.
Oh, there you go. There is one for LAX. Oh, let's be real. There ain't a contract in there. You've been privileged since you've been here. Now? Yeah. Kind of sounds like it. Oh, if you have those Los Pantalones to get in the ring with us, stop your whining. Now, let's just point out that their back is turned looking at Conan, and Homicide and Hernandez are not near Conan.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, there it is.
We're telling you right now, I don't believe you.
What, am I supposed to read that from here? He wants him to cross the border, dude.
Oh my fucking god! It's
Hand
like
deliver
the,
it. Watch
it's
what
like the
happens.
episode of SpongeBob where it's like, "Is this your wallet?" Nope.
No.
Is your name register? Yeah.
So this is your wallet. No.
No.
Don't cross the border.
Oh, throw it at them. They're absolutely getting jumped.
Yeah. He goes, yeah, this is a contract. You got a pen? Conan's gonna sign it for him.
How are you?
Look. He pulled it right
AJ
off the
found
table.
Yeah, right on the table.
Oops, my bad. Conan dropped it.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel said, oh shit. They beat it. And here comes Homicide and Hernandez. And look at that. Oh,
Conan just hit Daniels with a slap jack.
shit. As this brawl's happening, Bob, Conan did an interview on Monday Night Mayhem where he put over Homicide really strong, saying that he would do anything for the guy to ensure that in 20 years people would mention him in the same breath as Conan, Ray, and Eddie Guerrero.
I don't think people do that.
No, they don't, but...
Conan just decked Daniels with one of the tag titles on the floor. Homicide has got AJ. Oh, he's going to hit the Gringo Killer. He just hit the Gringo Killer in the middle of the ring.
That move is, like, brutal.
Yeah, and if people are wondering what is the Gringo Killer, it is the Vertebreaker.
I feel like, I mean, obviously that move's been around for a while, but I feel like seeing it on TV, like TNA, I feel like the crowd is going to look at it like the new Canadian Destroyer, where it's like he's about to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
They're signing the contract with Daniel's Blood, which is interesting because their name was already on it.
No, they're signing LAX's name on it with
Oh.
Daniels' blood.
Oh,
They're
I see
not
what you mean.
signing the contract on Daniels' behalf.
Oh, yeah, he wrote LAX, sort of.
Yeah.
Put that up, he says. They look good with those titles. Yeah, that was good.
That was a good segment.
Okay, so Sting's doors are open, and there's no Sting inside. So JB's sneaking around Sting's locker room.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Larry Zbyszko came in, and he's got a wig on. Holy shit. It's actually not an awful looking wig, though. I mean, it is because we know it's a goofy, but, like, it doesn't look fake.
No, it looks fake. I mean, we would have.
If you turned the TV on and didn't know he just got his head shaved, and you didn't know who he was, you would think it's really his hair.
I don't know.
Yeah, you would. Show that picture to your mom and see. Be like, do you think this is a wig? Actually, you can't say that. Just say, what do you think about his hair?
Yeah.
What do you think about his hair? Slick's here again, laughing at Zbyszko. I can't believe Zbyszko's even still around right now.
I'm surprised too.
Up next, Jarrett is fighting Jay Lethal. We're at 31 minutes 5 seconds, by the way. Let me try to get these last two notes out real quick. Alvarez mentions he's not sure if it's a rib, but Bob Ryder has a new book coming out and is apparently going to be called "How I Helped Kill Kayfabe: From Internet Geek to Wrestling Insider."
Is that a legitimate book?
I didn't look it up, so I don't know. And then finally, if I can find it again, regarding Jay Mitchell and WWE, he said that he's under contract with TNA until May and is very happy with his position as manager with Abyss. And hold on, we're seeing a Bobby Roode segment, so I want to see this before I finish that note. He's born to be champion. Do I think Team Canada held me back? Maybe. He's in it for himself. I will take you out. I am the main event. Okay, so they're definitely positioning him like he's going to be jacked up to the main event scene. You're looking at the new face of TNA. Huh. Okay. So Here we go, NWA heavyweight title match. But anyways, back to my James Mitchell note. So he's under contract till May, and is very happy being with Abyss. He said he never contacted WWE management about coming in, nor did they contact him. There were WWE wrestlers talking about it regarding talks Mitchell had with some of the wrestlers. Now, there were wrestlers talking about it in WWE, including the idea of him managing Sabu, but it was more of the on the guise of people who wanted him in the ECW brand. In the end, due to the contract situation, it's not going to happen. So.
So that Robert or Bobby Roode
Yeah, how'd you feel about that?
vignette. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have to really kind of. He's gonna have to go like on a win streak probably to get the proper momentum for that. Like vignettes are not going to change my thought and like, oh, he's from a mid carder to a main eventer. You know who would be a perfect guy for him to beat? I think he might. Yeah, well, he feuded with him before, so never mind. I was gonna say Rhino. It'd be a perfect time for him now to beat Rhino.
Right.
Or Russell Rhino with the ECW thing.
It was so recent, though. I feel like we'd have to figure out a way to spin it.
Yeah, it wouldn't really make sense now.
We haven't got an NWA title match on Impact in quite some time. Not that I recall.
I mean, I wonder if the last time was when Jarrett beat Rhino for it. I mean, that was on a primetime special thing.
It might have been. Rudy Charles, our referee. Here he is, Rudy.
This really
weighing
should
it.
Get boxing.
It's a title match, Bob. 211 from New Jersey. It's Jay Lethal. He's like, I'm going to win it.
I'm going over, brother.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Over me, brother.
He pushed Jarrett.
Now, remember, these guys had a match recently in the UWF in New Jersey that involved Lethal's mother at one point. Of course, Jarrett won because he's Jeff Jarrett.
The king of the mountain. Oh, shit. He's getting powerbombed off the top rope.
Lethal started out with a powerbomb. Get him, Jay. Get him. Forearm.
He really had to squeeze between Jarrett's legs there to do that, so he probably just got ball wiped.
You know, they're still associated in AEW now, aren't they?
They are. They're buddies.
Yeah. Top rope elbow drop. 1, 2. Oh, Jarrett kicks.
But Jarrett's on like the pre-show like team too, which I think you could just get a kick out of.
Oh, he is.
I saw a graphic that it was like best match of the night, and it's Renee, RJ City, Jarrett, and I forgot who the other guy is on the graphic because it's like showing who's like doing the comment or the not commentary but the pre-show like thing.
Round table thing.
Yeah, it was like but can't wait for this match.
Lethal is one step ahead. He went to the floor as Jarrett was trying to bail, and he keeps going after the champion with chops and strikes.
Oh, Rocky Romero.
Oh, Rocky.
Can't wait for that match.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh, Dallas's favorite move where Jarrett splashes down onto Lethal's back over the middle rope and then tries for a punch, but Lethal blocks it. The boss man punch.
Bob's favorite move.
Suicide dive by Lethal.
TNA. Oh, here comes Scott Steiner with a lead pipe. Oh, pushed Lethal off the top to the floor, and now one of the Hard Justice posters got taken off the thing. I would be slipping that under the guardrail.
Yeah, you would.
I don't have that
Back
poster.
from commercial.
I have a bunch of old school TNA posters, but I don't have that one.
What ones do you have?
I have Turning Point 2004. I have Victory. I might have Victory 2004. I have to double check that one. I have Lockdown 2005. I have Lockdown 2010 for some reason. What else do I have? I think I have a Slammiversary one as well. I don't remember which one though. I'd have to double check that. Huge
Big
back body drop.
drop.
You know that Jeff Jarrett's going to have Scott Steiner in his corner at Hard Justice, and Sting
Nice drop
has to be watching this match closely.
Jeff Jarrett.
We have just about 4 minutes and 13 seconds left of this show. Lethal is going to pull an upset, win the NWA title, I think.
That'd be crazy if he did.
Could you imagine?
I feel like that's... here's a roll-up. He's switching to a figure 4. That's the type of shit I would do, though.
I feel like we need a dusty finish where it's like they think he wins, and then Jim Cornette comes out and vacates it, and then just gives it to Jarrett next week. Steiner sliding in, pulling Jarrett closer to the ropes. Oh, Rudy caught him. Shut up! Here comes Lethal. Oh, he dives onto Steiner. Over Jarrett. The crowd is really into Lethal right now, which is cool.
Oh, man.
Springboard drop kick. Takes out Jarrett.
Man. I think Lethal's going to do it.
Arm drag. Cartwheel drop kick. That's a fun combo. Flying headbutt. Diving dynamite. Dude. Gets a 2 count. Jarrett does the stick his arm in the air kick out. I hate that.
You didn't even really pop his shoulder up.
He's just like,
here.
I hate it.
No, he's not going to just hit the stroke right now. There's 2 knee lifts. That was kind of
Oh, went for the stroke, but the kids got a counter for that. Jarrett's in the corner, tosses Lethal to the apron. Lethal climbing to the top. Steiner, though, look at this. Lead pipe to the back.
Are you telling me right now that Jarrett is going to do absolutely nothing other than a middle rope stroke and he's going to win the match off that?
Oh, so lead pipe to the back, stroke off the middle rope, or top rope, I suppose. And then he got the pin. I love when Jarrett wins and he's like, yes, yes. As if like it was like that hard for him to win.
Yeah, that was like 95% Jay Lethal.
I know. Which is why that match wasn't that bad.
Right.
Nice.
So now, of course, afterwards, we're going to try to kill as much heat for Lethal as possible. And we're going to have the Steiner recliner. And,
lights out. Lights out.
Christian Cage.
It's got to be one thing. Could it be the one? The man they call Sting. It's Sting. His eye is fine now. He can see out of it, even though there's gasoline in it 3 days ago. Or 4 days ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, you just have to put water in it.
I mean, you might probably are right, but Sting is really going after Jarrett now. He's really pissed. And look, Steiner beating down on Sting from behind. Sting's choking Jarrett. Oh my God. And that's how we go off the air, and we have a little video package to end us. So, Adrenaline Rush.
Adrenaline Rush.
Bob, what'd you think of that episode?
I'd say it was good. It was a good.
Yeah, thumbs up. I think I enjoyed that. That LAX segment was really good.
That was good.
There was a lot of good stuff in this episode.
Lethal looked good. Very, very good.
Yeah, Lethal looked good. LAX looking good. Sting choking. Oh, look at that. A little match graphic for next week. For the Battle of the Machines. Samoa Joe versus Rhino.
There's going to be no finish.
Wait. Is this a post-credit segment?
I think so. Yeah.
I can't just go into a door without being bothered. He's trying to go see Jim Cornette. Oh, he wants to make sure at Hard Justice that he's going to even the playing field. He's going to ask Cornette if he can be in Sting's corner.
That's
Now,
fishy as fuck. That is so fishy.
I don't want to be that guy, but he opened the door and it was dark inside. But anyway.
Maybe Cornette was napping.
It could be. Okay, this is so funny. Me and Bob were just talking about post-credit segments in wrestling.
Yeah, we were.
Before we started recording. And we just saw one in 2006. That's crazy. Okay, I also like that episode. There was a lot that happened, which I always get nervous when a lot happens on just the first show after the pay-per-view because we have 3 more weeks that we have to do stuff. But
yeah, I don't think it's that much of a challenge when it's only 3 more weeks compared to like when it's 6 more weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously. So a rough idea here is for Hard Justice. Obviously, Sting and Jarrett. LAX against Daniels and Steiner.
Contract signed.
Contract is signed for that. I know it's technically next week, but I'm sure it's going to happen at Hard Justice. It's Joe and Rhino.
It's going to be a brawl next week, and then that'll lead to the match.
There's not going to be a clean finish to that at all.
Maybe they should do like a brawl through the Impact Zone or even outside of it a little, and then at Hard Justice be like a Falls Count Anywhere match or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. They're teasing that Runt will go for the X Division title, but that smile on his face says otherwise.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Abyss and Runt at Hard Justice as well.
I'm thinking the same thing. I feel like Abyss and Runt is going to be the new Abyss Sabu.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's what I'm thinking for that.
I mean, realistically, if this is what's going down, Hard Justice is shaping up to be a lot more interesting than Victory Road.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, I feel like all the summer shows end up being filler, but it's the one in between the 2 other filler ones.
Right.
So theoretically, it should be pretty good. No Surrender, we might have to worry because Bound for Glory is right after that, but.
Yeah.
Oh, and the potential of Sorelda and Gail Kim.
Oh, shit. Right. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, the first week here, I mean, we're shaping up a handful of matches already.
Do you think... Oh, I don't even want to say this out loud. Do you think we're going to... Well, no, they're not going to do it yet. Never mind. I was going to mention the AMW situation. Do you think that's going to be like Bound for Glory? You think they're going to split by Bound for Glory and have a big Bound for Glory match? Or are we going to like really milk the breaking up of AMW?
I feel like, I mean, how would you really milk it? Because LAX has already kind of inserted themselves.
I think what's going to happen, here's my idea.
In the mix there.
At Hard Justice, we are going to see, this is a wild guess, I have no idea if this is even true or nothing. AMW against the Naturals, the new franchised Naturals. And it's like, or maybe that could be Bound for Glory if we really want to milk this out. Because then they lose to like one of their biggest rivals. And then it's just like, maybe that's like the last straw. Like Harris snaps.
Yeah, there's got to be...
I also definitely think it's to be Harris that turns on Storm, right?
Well, who would be more likable?
James Storm. I think Harris thrives as a heel.
Yeah. He looks good as a heel too.
He looks good as a heel. And I think James Storm is like the kind of goofy, like, I'm drinking beer, having fun kind of guy. And that's why I feel like Harris has to turn on him. I kind of, okay, so if I'm going to do this, I like my new idea. I think we're going to milk this. We're going to milk this till Slammiversary next year. And what we're going to do is we're going to lose to the Naturals at Bound for Glory. And we're going to go on a 6-month losing streak.
Oh my God.
Maybe someone needs to get injured, a fake injury. Anyways, in the long term, I think Harris turns on Storm and Gail Kim stays with Harris. And then James Storm is like the likable babyface.
And that doesn't sound bad. I'm trying to figure out what would be a good time to do the split. I think the split would be at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that.
So like if Harris were to turn on Storm, he could do it then and be like, you've been fucking up, my path to greatness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do it at that show. So I mean, realistically, do they get another tag title match at Bound for Glory to bring the turn? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it depends what happens with our tag team division here leading up to it. So I guess we'll see how it plays out.
I don't even know what they'll do now in the tag division.
Well, I think that's where I'm like kind of stuck because it's got to be something with the Naturals. I feel like because they're like the new rising team again, and I think the Naturals defeating AMW is kind of like on trajectory with what Shane Douglas is trying to get them to do to get another title shot.
Yeah.
So. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, Bob.
Yeah, and that's to wrap up this week's episode. So, guys, join us next week for yet another edition of Impact Machine versus Machine, Rhino and Joe. Next week. Until then, for Dallas Gridley, I'm Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Across the Line podcast.